on my soapbox again. Just kind of tell me what you're seeing right now with this and we can riff on it.
Yeah, the first big shift I've noticed is the amount of advertisers that are moving towards awareness, demand creation, and away from traditional lead gen has been massive and like substantial. So much so that from a product perspective, that is a big focus of ours, right? And we have a lot of couple exciting things on the way in terms of enabling that and making it easier for folks. And that has been a huge thing. So I'm talking companies that are spending over $300,000 a month consistently on lead gen based campaigns, shifting to awareness, like almost overnight, which has been substantial. There's one company that comes to mind that was like, of all the companies, that's like the most hardcore lead gen, if you will. And I remember talking with their VP of marketing, and basically I was advising them on making the shift to demand creation from their current approach. And he told me, he's like, Silvio, like we're spending, freaking 300 grand a month on lead gen right now. And we're generating an obscene amount of leads. But when he actually looked at those leads that converted into revenue, paid social as a channel was so unprofitable that if he just kept doing that, it just, you know what I mean? He's not gonna have a job, so to speak, right? So that has been, I would say, one of the biggest shifts by far. But the one thing I do want to add, which is the trap that everyone falls into when they first make this shift, is from a tactical perspective, they shift their campaigns to awareness-based, they shift their offers to, content, driving to a landing page, or maybe it's in feed, but their content isn't good enough. They don't really put the energy and the effort. And
I'm laughing because I literally put a LinkedIn post out today on exactly what you're going to say. So keep going.
Yeah, like that's it. And it's like, and then, fast forward a month, 2 months, and they're like, they're looking at, blended organic or blended opportunity volume, cost, et cetera, self-reported, all the bells and whistles everybody talks about on LinkedIn every day. And they're like, well, why isn't it working? You know what I mean? And it's like, your content has to actually, and this is why I like calling it demand creation more so than brand awareness, because brand awareness typically is like, oh, I served an impression, they're aware, right? Versus demand creation is like, you are literally creating an interest and desire for your product or category, right? It's a much deeper level of relationship than just I served an impression and now you are quote unquote aware, right? And to do that is to create that desire is you have to expose pain, you have to expose problems. And oftentimes when you're marketing to an unaware audience, they don't know what they don't know. So it takes even more work. So your content has to be that much better. So whether that's you have internal subject matter experts that can create that content for you, you can incentivize them, help get their name out there, or you can collaborate with other folks. But that is like a huge miss, that of the folks that are making the transition to demand creation, they haven't put enough thought in terms of what are they actually promoting to create.
I mean, you nailed it, because when I was ranting about this earlier today, I was saying that most companies, when making the shift, or most B2B marketers, ungate their content and don't change it at all, and then just start running ads to ungated content.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And I hate to tell you, you're not going to create demand that way. Like, you have to come up with a point of view. You have to show people why the way that they work is broken in a way that they never realized before. And like, you educate them on this and they're nodding their heads and they're like, wow, you get me. I didn't know that what I was doing is messed up. Like, there's a better way and you can take me to that promised land, as Andy Raskin calls it.
Yeah.
And it's hard as hell. And there's so much more that goes into it than just lighting up ads and ungating content. And you have to put that much more effort into, it sounds funny, the marketing component to it, like actual psychology and getting to change people's behaviors. And, we're doing that right now. It's a gradual process. It takes time, but it is not ungate your content and run ads.
And the reason why I think people conceptually get that, but it also takes a level of vulnerability, because you have to put your ass on the line. You know what I mean? And when I say put your ass on the line, I mean in the sense of you need to rise above what you're capable of right now, which is uncomfortable, right? And then the second thing is when you're going against a point of view, it's in some ways like contradictory and contrarian, and you are
Yes.
opening yourself up for negative feedback, right? You are literally challenging the status quo, which is the opposite of taking the complacent path.
Yeah. It's it was weird for me because I had never worked at a company that was doing this until I got to metadata, and it took us a little bit of time before we got started with it. But you don't want to open yourself up to negative feedback consistently. Like
Hmm.
it doesn't feel good. It's healthy at the end of the day. And that's how you
Yeah.
improve your campaign and your messaging and everything that you go about with your marketing. But yeah, it's an uncomfortable feeling when you first make the jump.
It's the same thing when you're like a personal content creator and you start creating content for the first time. You're gonna get bad comments. It's part of the game, but it's so much more impactful when you grow from it as an individual. And the same applies at an organization when it's just across teams of people.